What is going on? Welcome to another episode of the You're Still Here podcast. If you've never listened or checked out one of these podcasts before, something tells me you just might like it. Like if you've subscribed to my YouTube channel in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, well, I think you kind of know how my personality goes. And now you could hear me talk about things that aren't the New Jersey Devils roller hockey defense. You can hear me talk about things like my scam of the week, and Lord knows we'll be talking about those, especially when I have a few weeks in between episodes. That's how many scams I come across on a regular basis. Like, we've been doing this podcast for a few years now, and there have been over 100 scams of the week. That's how many scams I either know about, engage in, take part in, or have got screwed by. So last time, I talked about my Uber Eats Valentine's Day scam, where you can send Valentine's Day flowers to a girl through Uber Eats, but you got to make sure that she doesn't know it's from Uber Eats, because it's like, this guy just Uber Eats me flowers. And I mentioned that if you are going to do that, if you're going to order flowers through Uber Eats, just know that you're getting some bottom shelf flowers, meaning if they need to get rid of some flowers, that's what they're getting. So if you order roses, it's like milk, you know, there's a certain contingent of roses that are the freshest that they have, and then there are the ones that are on their last licks. You're getting one of the last licks roses. That's what I theorized. And then Valentine's Day came and went, and I even underestimated their level of scam, because on top of the bottom shelf flowers, so if you order roses, you're getting bottom shelf roses, I came across another one. And I know Valentine's Day in the past, but if you're going out for a Valentine's Day dinner, you should always do it after the fact. Don't let them, another scam, don't let them scan you. Like I talked about the price fix dinner where you can't have any of their standard items and they introduce a whole new worse menu that's more expensive. You go 2 weeks later and celebrate your actual Valentine's Day scam. And now I'm going to tell you 2 weeks later about the Valentine's Day Designer's Choice scam.
It's a scam.
That's a scam.
What a scam that was.
So this was all a scam, huh?
Where I was on Uber Eats and I was on Seamless and I did purchase some flowers. Because if I'm talking about it on the podcast, you can't be a hypocritical scammer. You can't inform people about a scam and then not engage in it. So I got some scam flowers off Seamless or DoorDash or whatever. You know, they're all the same. And get this one, and I screenshotted it for you and all. The Designer's Choice scam from florists that operate on Uber Eats. Look at this. So what they do is they put this at the top. The most popular item, the #1 most liked item, is the Designer's Choice wrapped bouquet. A seasonal bouquet of fresh flowers wrapped in. You're not going to read the rest of it. But what they're saying, it's a designer's choice, what the owner feels like getting at the time, and they put it at the top, like, so you feel like, oh, I should get that. It's the #1 most liked thing, and it's $5 cheaper than all their other flowers. You know what they're doing. They're calling it the designer's choice so that they can put anything they want in there. So it's bad enough you're getting bottom shelf roses when you want roses. Now they truly are putting anything they got in there, things that are about to die in 20 minutes, they're shoving in their designer's choice thing. You think you're saving $5. You're being handed a carcass, a dead carcass of flowers. That's what the designer's choice scam is from the florist. And you can bet your ass, when I ordered my Uber Eats scam flowers, I did not go with the designer's choice, and either should you. And I had this confirmed by some of my friends, by the way. This isn't just flowers, florists, Valentine's Day. I have a couple friends who own restaurants. I have an array of friends. They're all over the spectrum. Cops, restaurant owners, finance, teacher, you name it. They're all over the place. Just a whole slew of different professions and different levels. Some corporate, some not. Some pizzeria owners. Like if you're from the NHL videos, you know how I say pizzeria raw doggers? Yeah, one of those type of guys. So one of my friends who owns a restaurant says that if people ever say, oh, give me anything, give me something you like, they always give them the items that quote unquote aren't moving, the ones that are stockpiling in the back. And if they don't get these things out, that's just money lost on the restaurant's part. So if people ever give them any leeway, why don't you give us what you think is good? What's the best? Oh, you want to know what's the best? The swordfish. I've never ordered swordfish. I will never order swordfish. So if they have swordfish in the back and you say, bring me out what's best, they're bringing out that swordfish special. So just know, don't ever leave it up to other people to make your decision for you, because they're just going to give you the things that they need to get rid of, garage sale style. You ever go to Dunkin' Donuts? And I know there are some states that probably still don't have it, but you ever go to Dunkin' Donuts and ask for a box of Munchkins? If you just go in there and say, hey, let me get a box of Munchkins. Oh, do you know how happy they are on the inside? Do you know what that box should be called? It should be called absolutely everything you didn't want in that box. That box, whether it's an assortment of donuts or a box of Munchkins, you're getting one glazed, one chocolate glazed, and then a whole box of those grim death Wild West dusty brown donut. You know what I'm talking about? That one that just looks like it's been sitting in the desert for a couple of weeks. I think it's called Old Fashioned. Well, if you go in there and you ask for, oh, let me get a box of donuts, just know everybody in corporate is smiling, laughing, having a great time. Just like those people who use those unnecessary buttons on the microwave that I told you about last episode, how there's a button that says family snacks on the microwave. You hit it, people are laughing because now they know that you actually thought that there was a button that made family snacks heat up opposed to everything else. Same type of thing when it comes to Dunkin' Donuts. You go in there, you ask for that assortment, that mixed box of donuts, you're getting everything they can't move. You're getting all that, those powdery ones, we're touching them and you're dusty for the rest of the day. You're getting the powder, you're getting the old dusty ones. No fresh glaze, no chocolate glazed. You're getting the garbage. And yeah, maybe they'll sprinkle a couple of the ones you like on the top, but you bring these things to a party. I want you to look, if you're in the Northeast or any other place where Dunkin' Donuts is popular, I want you to open the box after everybody's done. It's just like Starburst when you see all the yellows. It's just like a Back to the Future 3 DVD set. Nobody's watched 3. Nobody's opened 3. 3 is still in the plastic. And that's what happens when you go to Dunkin' Donuts. And that is what happens when you just allow a florist to pick for you. It's the designer's choice scam.
It's such a scam.
You want to know the interesting thing? Now, when I did flower delivery, you didn't need signatures. But it is super fascinating to me that signatures actually still count in 2024, and the length that they count. Like, you need a signature to get things done, and you hand in pieces of paper with the guy who wrote his name in ink on it. So if somebody shows up to a place with my name in blue on a piece of paper, the courts are just going to process that document. That is unfathomable to me. It just seems like that's as archaic as, I don't know. We can go back to like talking about like Salem witch trial levels. It's as archaic as wearing powdered wigs to court that probably have just as much powder in it as some of those damn donuts that I never want in my boxes. Because you ordered one powdered donut in your assortment box from Dunkin' Donuts, every last one, those dusty brown ones, they'll turn into powdered donuts by the end of the day. That's what's shaking around one of those things. There's endless powder on it, but the signatures is just something I've been thinking about recently as I sign things, because, let alone now you can digitally sign. How does that work? Why do you even have to go through the trouble of digitally signing something if you can just click that button? So I can click the button like iTunes, that counts, and I can click next. But if I do something like that for an official government document, that doesn't work. I don't know. That's pretty, that sounds pretty suspect to me. It's just crazy to me that, you want to serve somebody court papers. You want to take somebody to small claims court. You want to take me to small claims court. I have to get an actual signature handwritten and then send it in. Those signatures you need. Oh, they're going to recall that governor. You need this many thousand signatures. You mean to tell me they went to these people's houses? And who's verifying this? What if I just sat inside one day and just started signing thousands and thousands and thousands of names? Oh, well, look, we got those signatures. So I don't know. That just kind of seems like something that in the next couple of years, I mean, you can lump it in there with daylight savings times as something that just kind of needs to be eradicated. We're going too far down the road, or we are too far down the road when it comes to doing silly things like that. I think we have daylight saving time next week, except for the people in Arizona who just said, listen, we're not doing that. One thing that I always respect about Arizona, and now that the Super Bowl is over, that was another thing we talked about in the last episode, people struggling, not a lot of stuff to watch. Obviously, people like me, I got my sports going on, I can watch hockey, I can be totally fine. But those people who live for Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, they got to find some things to watch and fill the time. And according to the algorithms, they found something because this has been suggested to me. I see people tweeting about it. So I'm like, let's see what's got them now. And what do you know? It's Love is Blind. It's a reality show where people get together and they stick them behind a wall so you don't see who this person is. You talk for 2 weeks. And then you decide if you should get married to somebody. And once again, like another show that I talked about a couple weeks ago, you want to know who this is hosted by? Nick Lachey and his wife. Nick Lachey, who met his wife and was on a reality show with her and got divorced because of all the stuff that reality show thrust upon their lives. So you know what? Perfect guy to host a show like this, because in the event that anyone ever was together on this show, they probably would be ending up just like Nick Lachey, and then maybe, end up with another. That's how it works. You're on a reality show, a dating show, you get married, then you get divorced, and then you host the next reality show about falling in love and getting married. And it's just a cycle that repeats itself. So what you do in this show, you get in there and there's a wall that separates you and another person, and you don't get to see them until you essentially propose. So I guess we are taking things back. It was kind of like that in medieval times, right? You just heard, oh, Lord Selwyn of so-and-so, I'll be marrying his daughter. So it's a similar type of thing, except you get to know the person, you get to hear them. I guess it's trying to illustrate that looks don't matter. And it's a good thing that looks don't matter, because it's bad enough that you're watching these reality shows, which it's just some of the most idiotic stuff you've ever seen in your life. I mean, I already have such a low opinion of the intellectual abilities of previous generations. All metrics available are showing that younger people are increasingly becoming dumber and dumber and dumber. Their IQs are just going straight downward. This show, the number one reason I wouldn't watch it, and I don't want this to sound judgmental, I know where I lie on the spectrum, but I remember what it was like watching reality shows growing up. I remember watching Real World. I remember seeing The Challenge, MTV. You want to know what I thought when I watched those shows? I was like, man, that girl's hot. That guy's so lucky. Like, I would never be able to meet a girl like that and have her be into me. Now I watch these reality shows. I turned on Love and Blind. I'm like, these people are disgusting. I wouldn't hook up with any of them. These people I was disgusted by. And I don't mean this to sound so mean. I guess that's part of it. No, it's called Love is Blind. Well, at least have half and half. Because you want to know the only storyline that people seem to care about? The one that included a hot one. And it's another reason, by the way, if you watch these things, you got to know you're just an animal being led by a carrot. Because they released the first chunk of episodes, and they had all the storylines. They put all the storylines in it. They spent so much of every episode. There's this guy who looks like a rookie AJ Green on there. Seems things are going well in his relationship, but the storyline didn't click. So they wait a couple weeks to release the next batch of episodes, or whether 1 week, 2 weeks. And then what do you know? The AJ Green storyline's just gone. So they release semi-storylines to see which ones the idiots clamp onto, and then their next wave of editing steers almost all the attention and all the focus and the percentage of the episodes on the storylines that catch. So depending on what you engaged with is how they're going to recut the next episodes to make as much or as little drama about those. A full idiotic imbecile show. Is that what life is? You just try to find things to get to tomorrow? Because that's all. This is a pure time killer. There are so many better things to watch than this. And we'll get to those in a few seconds. But on that show, one of the storylines, and you should look this up, is that the one hot girl, the storyline that I guess captured some people's attention, was that this guy had to choose between two girls. And one girl, he more or less asked, do you get any lookalikes? And the girl said, well, the lookalike I get the most is Megan Fox.
Megan Fox? You're saying you look like Megan Fox?
Now, everybody blasted this girl afterward. Now, of course, this girl absolutely deserves some ridicule, but only a little bit, because you want to know why? If I ever heard somebody say that, so I'm sitting in a room, and by the way, do you imagine me on this show? Do you know what my facial reactions would be like if I was sitting in that room and there was a wall between, and I was just, forget about it. I mean, you guys would be dying at home because I really don't hold back.
Do you ever get told you look like a celebrity?
There's a show called Charles in Charge. You ever hear of it? Yeah, I didn't think so. So there's this guy, Charles. He lives with kids, and you know what? I kind of look... Have you watched Cobra Kai? Do you know Daniel LaRusso, played by Ralph Macchio? You ever heard of the Karate Kid? Well, imagine I'm in his... That's kind of me. I'm in that subset of Italian-looking 80s, 90s sitcom characters. I'm watching the kids in the basement. That's me. So can you picture someone of that variety? Well, no matter what you're picturing right now, it couldn't be that far off. So that's it. You're talking to a slightly taller Karate Kid on the other side of that wall. What do you think your lookalike would be? If some girl said, by the way, if I said that, A, it's not too far off, and B, I didn't say I looked like Brad Pitt, did I? Because one thing that I would be certain is that somebody who doesn't have something is the person who's going to oversell it. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I had to take a lot of acting classes, and you have to learn a little bit just through doing scene study and whatnot. But if somebody told me, how many people who told you they can beat you in NHL 94 actually ended up beating you in NHL 94? Because I will tell you something. I can beat you in NHL 94, and that's guaranteed. But if I ever played somebody and they told me they were going to kill me in NHL 94, I dusted them easily. Do you want to know who really gave me a run for my money? The people that were like, oh, I've played that before. I've played it. Yeah, that was one of the ones I played. Meanwhile, they're playing like a young Wayne Gretzky out there. I'm dying to try to keep up. Those are the Megan Foxes. So when somebody comes out and goes, well, I'll proudly, the one I get the most is Megan Fox. Everybody knows that Megan Fox is as hot as it gets. She was the universal symbol of hot in Transformers. So for somebody to come out and say that, there has to be at least an embarrassment. Just say, yeah, it's mostly Megan Fox. It's like, I kind of feel, I don't know. I feel weird saying it because it's just going to make me... I don't know. I'd rather not. If somebody was all nervous to say something like that, then my antennas would go up. And then if you begrudgingly say, like, come on, tell me who it is. Well, I obviously don't agree with this, but some people think I look like Megan Fox. I would be sold, married, whatever you want. I'm there in 2 weeks. That's what it would be like. But when somebody's just, oh yeah, Megan Fox, twice a day, every day, twice. I go to get a sandwich. I got a sandwich. They go, are you Megan Fox? You must be her body double. I could, as I'm marrying the other person, whoever that is, I will take it because this girl doesn't look like Megan Fox.
Okay, so hear me out. Like, I think that she really does look like Megan Fox. She does. You're just seeing it on the wrong head. If you take Megan Fox's head and put it on Jay Leno, that's her, right? Tell me you can't see that.
I guess I've already just railroaded her enough. I'm Scott Baio. What are you going to do? Anyway, that will conclude my rant on love is a scam, not in real life, but in the show.
What a scam.
However, I will say that Patriots documentary, if you're a sports person, I mean, I put that one in terms of enjoyment. Yes, it's not The Last Dance, but it's not far off. Some of the footage, some of the stuff, they got some great stuff, and obviously some is left out, but I've definitely been enjoying that. You know, that Super Bowl that just passed.
Hell of a game, dog. Let's do this thing.
It went to overtime.
San Francisco, you were still the visitors. What is your call?
Tails again.
He called tails again.
And then there was a big discussion. There was a big debate on what happened in the overtime. So the coin toss happened. I think this was the first overtime in NFL history. Now both teams get the ball, and it gets treated like another game, essentially. So even if you score a touchdown, the other team's guaranteed a chance to score a touchdown and everything. So the 49ers, they decided to get the ball. Like, we'll take the ball.
It is tails.
Full receive.
You want the ball?
It was suggested that they should have punted, because now, no matter what they do, Kansas City knows what they need. Meaning, if San Fran scores a touchdown, then they have the advantage of going for it on every fourth down because they know what they need. If San Francisco gets a field goal, then you know a touchdown wins the game for you. So you get to know what you need, and there's an advantage in that. And the first thing I thought about was, oh my God, what a crazy disadvantage the first spinner has on the Showcase Showdown in The Price is Right. You know The Price is Right? When you come down and you play a game, and then after you win or lose, you have to spin that wheel against two contestants, that one right there. And of the three people, the one with the highest score gets to go and really win the massive prizes.
Step over there, Kristen, and spin.
Do you know how big of a disadvantage being the first spinner on the Showcase Showdown is? You have to spin. Okay, now let's say it lands on 65. You think, oh yeah, 65, well, it's more than 50, so you probably shouldn't spin again. I'll probably stay. You have two Kansas City Chiefs waiting now, who they have one spin to beat you. So if they don't get 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, if they don't get that, guess what they get to do?
Spin again.
Spin again.
So now you have to hope that they go over and don't beat you.
Stop. And that's not enough.
Oh, thank God. You survived that one, right? Well, then they wheel in another Kansas City Chiefs. You got another guy who has two shots to beat you. So you essentially, if you're the first spinner on the Showcase Showdown and you spin a 65, yet the analytics and math, you got to spin again. You need at least an 80 to try to make it to the end. You're losing if you stay on that 65. You know you are.
85 cents is a good score.
And I would love to know the all-time data. How many people came out of the 1 hole, the 2 hole, or the 3 hole? The 3 hole has to be the biggest advantage. Somebody can roll that 65. Then the second person can roll a 50, then automatically has to spin again to try to beat it. Then they're out of it. So now you got 2 shots to beat the 65. You don't even have to beat the second person because they've eliminated themselves. Going last, you're like the blackjack dealer. That's one of the biggest advantages of being the blackjack dealer. People can bust before you have to do a single thing. And I think that needs to be addressed on The Price is Right. If you're the first person who gets called down and wins, you shouldn't automatically be spinning first. This should be like a fantasy draft. You were first, you get to draft what position you want, and you better be taking 3. And that's something nobody's ever going to bring up. Nobody, the rules are the rules, but they're unfair rules. Just know that. Like, think about the next round. They show you a showcase, and you get to say, I'll bid or I'll pass. Guess what the second guy gets? Nothing. But it's understood because it took that person that much longer to win. So they were on the second round. They don't get to choose first. But the fact that the person who wins the very first game has to then spin first. And right now, if you're thinking, how could you be losing so much sleep about the first spinner on The Price is Right? Because nobody's ever said it and somebody's lost on it. And then they went home and thought, wait a minute, why did I have to go first? I mean, I beat the second guy. If I would have went there, it ain't fair. And just know that I know, and you'll never hear anything about this again because I don't care enough to re-bring it up, but just know the next time you watch The Price is Right, if you do watch The Price is Right, that when somebody goes over or when somebody loses on a second spin from person 2 or 3, just think about the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl because that's what's just happened. Anyway, if you are somebody who's looking for things to watch, you know where you could always go, because if you go to Netflix and they show you Love is Blind and you're not really feeling that, you can always go to YouTube where you find things like this, and maybe, you know, somebody learned something that nobody else has ever talked about, like that Price is Right thing that I just told you about, and the designer's flowers scam. You can also come across videos that you would think, not on YouTube anymore. I've heard YouTube is neutered. The days of 2 girls, 1 cup, those are long gone. There's no way you're going to be able to find ludicrous videos, preposterous videos, ones with titles that immediately are going to be banned once you post them. And to that, I say gays versus dwarfs, and big people versus little people, or I guess fat people versus dwarves. There is a YouTuber out there. I believe I tried doing some research. I think the origin of these videos come from Brazil. But there's a guy out there who puts on these competitions where the most stereotypical versions of people, he makes them dress up like flamboyant gay people and engage in a game of basketball. And the dwarves, oh my God. You're seeing this on your screen if you're watching this on YouTube right now. I couldn't believe this. The soccer one is preposterous. You can say don't laugh, but I'm sorry, it's absolutely hysterical. Some of these edits from other people, they put like Mario Brothers music as somebody's trying to run through these players. Anyway, if you want to laugh at a couple absurd videos, look, I would never put together something like this. I'm not asking for the re-implementation of bum fights and things like that. But if we have willing participants from all sides involved, I'm absolutely going to watch something like that on a night that I'm feeling like an idiot. If you want to feel like an idiot, go ahead. You can watch Love is Blind, Love is a Scam, where 2 people get together and after 2 weeks they're getting married. The girl I'm seeing has known me for years. She doesn't know a single thing about me yet. Maybe in 25 years, she might start to learn a few things about me. You think you're going to learn in 2 weeks, going to run the hurry up offense? And that's not even the 2-minute drill. That's the Buffalo Bills up by 3 against the Chiefs, 12 seconds left, 2 timeouts, try to get a field goal, and then, oh my God, it's in, I'm married. That's what that would be, going to a show like that. But it's obviously a scam. And then the last thing that I want to talk about today was Sydney Sweeney. You may have seen her in a bunch of movies. She's very popular at the moment. It's not just her being popular. There's something else that's extremely popular about it. And I'm kind of torn on the topic because Sydney Sweeney has one of those things where I'll say this. She's certainly more attractive than the people on Love is Blind. But if you were to look at her, like if she came into your pizzeria, for you guys who own a pizzeria, you'd be like, wow, she's pretty, but there's a Sydney Sweeney in every town. There's something about her that's really catching everybody's attention. And if you've seen any of the pictures, you've seen anything, it happens to be her gigantic cans, her boobs, which are massive. And that's prompted a potential return of something that's been gone for years. And it would be a return of the nice boobs, where boobs, tits, whatever you want to call them, are going to be the things that guys are going after, because guys are hooting and hollering. Now, yeah, I call these people gargoyles regardless, but the amount of asses I've seen on my timeline, there have been so many asses over the last decade. I've made multiple videos about it. I said, you sprinkle ass on anything, including your tax returns. everybody will be interested in it. Whatever you add ass to, I've talked about the golf videos. Your average golfers, your professional PGA golfers have less viewers than golf videos with a girl with a standard jiggle swinging a golf club, and then her ass moves a little bit afterward on the backswing. Ass is like adding Miracle Grow to any social media account. There is a chance that we're returning to boobs. And I say return because I've already made those videos saying that in the 80s and 90s, you go look at movies, there wasn't a single Instagram ass to be found anywhere, but there were many movies where there were girls with nice boobs, and this is what I've been holding this in for over 10 years. If you made me choose between ass and boobs, I'm a boobs guy. I am. And for some reason, I'll just say I'm a tit guy. I am. And you want to know why that is? You want to know my simple philosophy? Go ahead, send this to somebody. Say, look who we're dealing with here. An ass can be built. You can build an ass. The building blocks are in the gym. Go squat all you want. An ass will eventually prop up. But a nice set of tits, those are God-given. Either they were sprinkled on you from birth, and I'm not talking about the fake one. Obviously, there can be fake, but everybody knows, unless you get that subtle Kaylee Cuoco boob job, but you still eventually know. The nice set of tits, doesn't mean big, because, it has a nice pair of tits. It almost needs to be sculpted by an artist, because size, that ain't going to do it. There's all sorts of shapes. I've had one of my friends refer to weird ones as deflated speed bags. I am an admirer of a nice pair of boobs, because just like anything else in this world, the more rare something is, the more valuable it is on the open market, and whatever that may be, whether that's a personality trait or tits and ass. And isn't that a good way? I just wanted to remind you people, I still have it in me. I still can talk about these things, and I still can, host a pretty weird podcast. But then again, I am a guy with a power glove and a bunch of noses on this boom mic right here. So that will conclude this episode of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed these riveting topics. Everything from unfair spins on The Price is Right to the scam of the week, where you're letting these florists pick the dying flowers for you, and the return to tits. I will be back with you guys soon. If not next week, I will do it the week after that. Schedule is better since the Super Bowl ended. Have a little bit more time. Probably should have gotten one to you in between Valentine's Day and now, but when I do have times on Sundays is when I will probably film these. I will try to get you another one in, not next Sunday, the Sunday after that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Give this video a like. You can comment on it. And other than that, I'll be back with my sports videos. If you just go to the very next video, if you stayed here to watch this whole one, thank you very much. I will talk to you later. And if you're listening, you know the deal. Subscribe, click the notifications, because these come out at different times. So that's the best way to know when the latest episode is released. I'll be back with you guys next time. Take it easy and enjoy those titties.